we won't make much noise. We'll ask you questions and then kind of follow up. But
Sure.
it might be a little bit silent, but it's mostly just because we're trying to get your voice
Okay.
only on there.
Yeah.
Great. So, if
My name's Chelsea, and I'm a student at UWM. I study architecture, but I'm not just studying design. I'm studying how people feel about the place they live. More
Right.
like community studies.
and I'm also studying architecture, but I'm an undergrad. I'm a senior this year, so. And if you want to start out with maybe your name.
My name is Michael Schuh, Schuh.
And how long have you lived in Thurston Woods?
I lived right here since 1982.
Okay. What brought you to the neighborhood,
Uh,
or what attracted you to the neighborhood?
Back years ago, there was a spot I used to work over not too far from here as a little part-time job, and played softball for the same place, so it just kind of brought me over to this neck of the woods at that time.
What was the name of the place?
It used to be called the Copper Hearth.
Do you remember the address of it?
It was right where that post office is, right on the corner of Titonian Forest.
Okay. And did you work in the kitchen or?
No, I used to be a part-time bartender.
Oh, okay.
I worked full-time for the phone company at that time.
And that was before 1982, or?
Yes.
Okay. I'm just. So could you tell us a little bit about the neighborhood back then?
As compared to now, maybe.
Well, I would say it was a lot nicer neighborhood back then. When I moved in here, I thought it was a great place to live. I still do. I mean, I don't have any particular problems right on this street. The street over there, Carmen, and the street over here on Bobolink has kind of turned into a mess, but basically I'm pretty happy at where I am right now. And I've been here for 30 years, so.
I guess with that, what would you define as your neighborhood? Is it this street in particular, or do you see it, is it a bigger?
Well, the neighborhood is the whole area, but I just consider this street a decent street, so, it's more homeowners. Where you move over to Bobolink, there's part homeowners and a lot of apartments where you get people in and out all the time. You don't have people that have roots and care about a place, to me. I mean,
Is that the only change that you've seen, or?
I would say pretty much that
Hmm.
that would be it.
How about your family? Have they been around this area, or is it mostly just you that's?
I have family in the city of Milwaukee and Wauwatosa and Germantown, so they're all in the general area.
And did you grow up in Milwaukee?
Yes, right near Capitol Court.
Okay. And you said you're a retired.
Deputy sheriff.
Can you tell us a bit about the job you had, and interacting with this neighborhood, or just in Milwaukee in general?
Well, the job, when I first got on the job, it was working in the jail. Yeah. Learned the other half very quickly.
Where was the jail downtown?
The jail downtown, yeah, the Milwaukee County Jail. I worked there for about 6 years, and then I spent the next 6 or 7 years out on the freeway system. And then I worked for about 5 or 6 years in the courts. And I got a little punishment duty after that for about 1.5 years, and then I was out at the airport until I retired. So.
What do you mean by punishment duty?
Well, you'd have to have been here a while to know Sheriff Clark. Deputies don't get along with him too well, and I was one that did not get along with him too well. I wrote an article in our union paper. I did it on my own time, but when he read the article, he was not happy with it and decided to put me on a one-man foot patrol down in the inner city, which the sheriff's department has nothing to do with. But he made a special job for me for 1.5 years down in the inner city to teach me a lesson, supposedly. But
we have heard a little bit about him,
yeah.
And I think one of our students is contacting him for his memories of Thurston Woods. But,
he grew up right back here. His father was a great friend of mine.
had you known each other? Oh, his father is?
Yeah, I knew his father. I never knew him that well, no. He was younger than I was, so didn't really know him.
Is his father still alive? Do you see him much?
That I don't know. I know he lived right back here until, maybe 7, 8 years ago, and then he moved out toward Germantown, is what I heard.
Hmm.
But I knew his father well.
What are your favorite places in Thurston Woods? Places to eat, places to
There
go to
really
church?
isn't anything to eat right around this area that I know of. That at least I would eat at. There's a couple places, but nothing that would attract me. I enjoy sitting out here in the evenings. I'm not at home during the day too much. I run my dog twice a day. Other than that, I chauffeur my mom and uncle around. One's 93, one's 98. They live in northwest Milwaukee here at Lexian Village. So those two keep me busy, and I build birdhouses sometimes during the winter to keep myself occupied, and
And where do you do that?
right in the basement.
You have a workshop downstairs?
Yeah.
Nice. And do you sell those birdhouses or gifts?
More gifts. I'd say I've sold very few. Never really did it with the intention of selling them. I did it for gifts, but
Could you tell us more about walking your dog? I mean, could you describe your average walk and what you see or what you...
well, I don't do it right here because this is a populated area. There's a park on it'd be probably about 44th and what would be Douglas, but the street there isn't really 44th. It's Hopkins.
Haven Woods?
Yeah, right north of Havenwoods, there's a park called Shenager Park. It's a budding Havenwoods, and that's where I take my dog in the morning, and then in the afternoon I take him down over here off of Mill Road on the power company right away.
Okay.
Both places, I can let him go and don't have to worry about anything. So.
And while you're sitting on your porch, do many people walk by? What
Well,
do
there's
you
always
see?
people
What
walking by.
Many people talk, or...
There are a few of them. I know quite a few people in the neighborhood, but I would say you get down toward the end of the next block, those people don't talk too much. They usually heading up to the bus stop, and very few people say anything. But
So would you say maybe that this street or your street, you said they were mostly homeowners. Would it be that maybe they're more of rental people that are
farther down.
farther down? Yeah.
Actually, on this street, no, there's a few rentals, but there's a lot of homeowners down that way too. But I don't really see much of them. I think most of them have vehicles, so it's the people that would be walking by are either from apartments, one side or the other, because the bus stop is right here. So you go down a block there's no bus stop, and you go down here, there's no bus. So they got to come here if they want to catch the bus to go north or south. So.
Sure. How about I guess interactions with your neighbors? Is there a particular do you guys have events here in the street? Like, do you guys have cookouts or something?
Nope, nothing like that. Neighbor on this side, she's probably been here way longer than me. Her husband passed away about 8-10 years ago, I'm gonna guess.
Is that Andrew and Betty Stewart, or?
No, next door would be Carol Gesh.
Okay.
She doesn't vote, so you wouldn't have caught her outside of the thing. And next door here, the guy's name is Duke Shapozio. He's been here longer than me too, but another guy, I don't think he votes, so you probably wouldn't see him up there either. She's a real nice lady. If you wanted to, you could probably end up talking to her. If she's home, she would probably talk to you.
Sure.
She's been here a long time, raised her family here. I moved here in '82. I got married in '86, and my wife lived with me for 20 years until she passed away from cancer. So now I'm back to myself here. So this neighbor here is a little on the lazy side, but
Oh, are you talking about yard or?
everything.
Okay.
The yard, so much. The house needs some painting and stuff, and irritates me a little bit. If you own a property, you don't take care of it. She takes very good care of her place. You move the next house down, that woman doesn't take very good care of her place either. But
It's unfortunate.
she takes care of her yard, but not her house. It makes no sense. Her house has been leaking for years.
Oh, yeah.
and she's gone right now to Colorado, so she feeds the cat, and I go in the basement and I take care of the litter box for her, as neighbors do for each other. And you go in this house and you see the ceiling falling down with where water comes in, you know. Why would you not put a new roof on your house?
Some people just
I
stick to their strengths. It seems like they're seriously.
hard to figure out sometimes. You know, you make an investment in a house, you would take care of it. I mean, anytime something goes wrong in this house, I've always taken care of it immediately. It's just the way it is. So.
Definitely. You mentioned that you made birdhouses. Would you mind showing us some of these birdhouses?
Sure. Let me go get a couple. Right now I have 3 different kinds. These are the 3 kinds I have. I have the most of those right now, and these would be the second most I have.
That's great. So
And
this is
the
using.
third type.
So this is using recycled materials or some sort, or
This actually I get from a friend who still works at a bar, and a bottle of tequila comes in those boxes, and I end up getting the box. I seal everything up, put stuff in here to seal and paint and shellac it and cut the holes and everything. So
Did you put sandpaper on the top so birds can perch? Or
no, it just kind of gives it the. What this actually is that stuff you put on a step to keep from slipping,
okay.
and it kind of gives it the old look of the barn.
Yeah.
This is great. Would you mind if I took a picture with
No.
you on this?
With you as well. With you in the picture.
Oh, with me in the picture.
Yeah.
Just one of them, or
You can
want
carry,
both of
I guess
them?
both of them, as many as you can, probably.
As many as I can. Pull all 3 if you want.
And did you make the balloon too?
Yes, I did.
That's fantastic.
Alright, let's see. 1, 2.
Did it work? I'll do one more just. I'll take this. Okay. 1, 2. I think I got it. Thank you.
Yeah, I made that balloon myself from scratch.
That's awesome. So do you have?
As you can see, I'm a Packer fan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did,
So do you work on most of the stuff in your basement, you said?
Yes. That I bought. Everything else I made here.
wow.
And
They look-
this big one on the side here, which you can't see, but it's a big Packer thing. And Packers have won 4 Super Bowls, so
Yeah.
I bought all the material and I put this all together and cut all the holes in it for it. And,
How often do you do woodworking? Every week? Every day?
more toward the winter when it's, you know, you
Oh,
can't get
yeah.
outside that much. So.
Uh-huh.
But
Would you mind showing us your basement if you have like wood cutting stuff or?
it's a mess, but you're welcome to come out. You can come out and visit now. So he's a big baby. You won't.
What's his name?
Murphy.
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 My wife named him.
Oh.
Okay, Murphy, that's enough.
It's cute.
Murphy, no.
It's
I haven't cleaned yet, which is on my agenda, but
oh.
haven't done it since winter. I have a lot of stuff.
This is a lot better than my basement. So.
Cool. He's down here all the time.
Uh-huh. It's nice and cool
He
down
lays
here.
over here because it's cool down here. So Murphy, no.
He seems pretty young, but you said he's 8 or 9 or
12
wow.
He's in great shape. We must
yeah.
run him a lot.
every day, twice a day. Rain or shine, snow or sleet, hail, anything. I don't care. I'm out. No. You relax. So and you can see the birdhouses are all back on the shelf. They're the ones I.
Do you decorate a lot for Christmas as well?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Not
And
as much
Halloween?
as I used to. Since my wife passed away, I don't do as my decorating as much as I did. My Halloween's a big one. I like to decorate for that one, and I have the headless guy over there. So.
Have you always decorated, or
Yes.
and your wife too?
Yes.
What did she do, by the way?
She was a teacher for 15 years, and then after that, she worked for the county mental health hospital,
Where did she teach?
Milwaukee Public School System.
In this neighborhood or in a different neighborhood?
Not directly right here. It's kind of all over because she was a
Oh.
substitute teacher
Okay, yeah.
for 16 years. I mean, she had
That's
a
a
lot of
lot,
seniority,
yeah.
and she worked every day. There was on the day that she never worked.
Yeah.
Sometimes she'd get a long-term assignment that could last a month or two if somebody was out sick or an operation or
Yeah.
you know, whatever it is. That sometimes she would, on daily basis, go to a different school each day.
You both must have had to wake up pretty early
Uh,
to get those
back then,
calls.
yeah. I don't get up early now. That's why I said no mornings. 10 o'clock is my earliest get-up
Oh.
time. Because I stay up late at night. I'm up till
Sure.
Yeah.
1:30, 2 o'clock watching TV or on the computer playing cards or something.
Okay. What card games do you play?
So I play that Texas Hold'em.
Oh, okay.
You're okay now.
It'd be great if maybe do you go very far with the dog? Do you walk him like very far? Or
Oh
is it
yeah,
just-
he gets a good walk every day.
it'd be great if
Do you,
maybe-
He won't get a walk now till, you know, probably 6, once the sun gets down
Oh,
far,
yeah.
not so hot too. 'Cause
it's way too hot out there.
especially
And you
on him,
drive
'cause he's
over to the
getting
park?
old, so
Yeah, it'd be great if maybe we can even like if you could tell us like a general idea of where you go, you know, with your dog.
Well, like I said, I go to Shenager Park. It's actually when you take Douglas from 43rd Street, which is the main street, or they call it Sherman Boulevard. You go west 1 block, and it runs into Hopkins, which runs on an angle. And if you go on Douglas and go straight, you go right into Haven Woods. If you make that right turn there, that takes you over to Shenager Park, and that's where I take him along the railroad tracks in the grassy area. I keep them away from where people are, especially in the summer because a lot of kids play ball or whatever it might be over there. So I try to keep them away from where people are. And he's been trained very well. So when I take him out, he always goes in a bush somewhere where he makes his business. It's just the way he was always trained, so I don't have to worry about him going out in the middle and where people are walking and stuff. So.
So you said that you yourself, you were raised in Milwaukee? You
Yes.
said Capitol and
52nd and
Fort?
Capitol will be right in that area, just off of Capitol, a few blocks. But
Okay.
we can move upstairs if
Court,
you'd
Yeah,
like.
if you-
pardon?
Would you like to move back upstairs?
Oh, sure.
That's fine. We're comfortable.
Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry.
Got a dog here on the steps. He looks nice to Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Gotta be first, that's the
Yeah.
problem.
It's okay.
So excited.
Come here.
Awesome.
So we're also asking people about their memories. So do you remember any special events while you were bartending or when you lived? Well, over the last 20, 30 years.
Actually, I've been in this area about 35 years,
Okay.
30 right here, and then I was not too far down by what would be 31st and Villard
Okay.
for 5 years before that. So,
Yeah.
well, the area's changed a lot over the years. I mean, a couple of different big stores have been in that shopping center down here. I mean, you had Pick and Save before the Save You Foods, and before that they had.
Were there any places you were sad to see leave? Any restaurants or stores?
They used to have a restaurant right a block and a half over here called the Rooster. Me and my wife used to like to walk over there and go eat, and that place ended up closing up. And
Was it in
Gone.
a bungalow house?
no, it's a brick building over there. And then they used to have American Can Company over here, and now it's that chemical place Aldrich Chemicals over there now. I wasn't too thrilled when they moved in. Especially at the beginning, there was some stink coming out of that place that was from some sort of chemical. And what I ended up finding out is they had sealed their concrete floors inside the building, and that is what stunk so bad. In fact, I called the fire department at one time thinking that there was a leak over there, a chemical leak or something, because it smelled so bad. And I was worried about whether the air was good to breathe or not. So, but that's how I found out about that. But yeah, there's been a lot of changes over the years. I mean, that bar used to be over there that I used to work at, and used to play softball for them for a good 10 years, and I liked that place. And the owners got old, and no one wanted to take over, and then they ended up selling it to a car dealership. It lasted about a year and a half. Ruby Chevrolet moved from 51st and Capitol, which was right near where I grew up, and they moved over here and only lasted about a year and a half. So,
Where were the softball fields?
softball fields we played at were around the city. One was at 43rd and Burleigh.
Okay.
There's another one at Mitchell Park. There's another one on the south side on must have been on 23rd and Howard or something. There's one in West Milwaukee we used to play at. It was a good size. And then every weekend we were playing in a tournament somewhere in the summer. Fond du Lac, Sheboygan, go down to St. Louis, down to Florida, Parma, Ohio. I mean, we were always playing somewhere.
Okay.
That sounds fun.
Did you happen to practice in Havenwoods or?
There's a school right behind there. It used to be a Catholic church, and then it sold out to the public schools, and I'm not sure who owns it now, but they had a ball field behind there. We used to play softball and practice back behind there a lot of times.
And where is that, or what's the name of the school?
I'm not sure what the name of it is right now. It would be right on the corner of 35th and Florist. It's the southeast corner.
Oh, I know which one. I guess along with that, you said you play softball. Is it? Did you have then people in the community in Thurston Woods that also played for that same?
Oh, there were people. Yeah, there were people that lived around here. There's a guy who used to live down the block, and in fact, he still lives down there. Jim, he used to play. The owner's son of the bar, he played. A lot of people from this neck of the woods. Yeah, at that time, a lot of them are gone now.
How long did you play?
I played from probably about 1969 until, I don't know, 75, 77, somewhere around in there.
Wow.
And what was the name of the bar at that time?
The Copper Hearth.
The Copper Hearth.
And then there was a little hall that was part of the building that the younger son took over, and he called that part of the Castaways. So you had the Castaways and the Copper Hearth. So it was the old guy and the young guy, the father and son. So.
And where did you say the Copper Hearth was located at?
Right where the post office is now, right on Titonia and Florist.
All right.
That would have been the southwest corner.
Was the building torn down?
Yes.
Okay.
When Ruby Chevrolet came in there, they tore part of it down and remodeled, and then when the post office came in, they did a major remodel. So.
What do you remember the years those happened, when Ruby came and when the post office?
I'm going to say the post office has probably been there 10 years.
Okay.
Ruby was there like a year and a half, and all the time before that would have been Copper Hearth.
Was that one of the first jobs you had?
No, because it was a part-time job. I worked for the phone company for 18 years as a full-time job. When I got out of high school, I went to work for a plastic company for a year, and then I went to work for what was the phone company. And after I was there about 6 months, I got drafted into the Army for 2 years, and then I came back and just picked up right where I left off with the phone company, because they are required to save your job when you get drafted. So, and I worked there until 87 when I became a deputy sheriff. So.
So you went to Vietnam?
Yes.
Would you like to talk about that, or we don't? Where were you stationed, or?
Was stationed what would have been near the main base was near Phu Bai.
Okay.
It was the 101st Airborne Division.
Is that in the south or the?
It would have been north central, maybe right around there. A little bit, probably a little farther north than central. I'd have to look at a map to be sure. It's been a while.
Was it hilly or were you?
Oh,
pretty
the
close
whole
to-
place is, hills and triple canopy forest, and
Um, what did you do when you had leave? Did you stay in Vietnam and go to the when you had breaks?
Well, you get 1 7-day leave when you're there, and they give you numerous choices of where to go. A lot of the guys I knew went to Taipei. Some of them went to Hawaii if they were married to see if they could meet up with their wives. And Hawaii was a hard one to get unless you were married, because they wanted to keep that open for married people. So my choice was Australia, because I wanted to go somewhere and see white women with round eyes. After a year over there, I went through a lot of stuff, so got very sick over there for a couple-week period. And
I guess along with that, did you was there other people in the community, or maybe a better question is, when you left and then when you came back, you said you were stationed there for how many years, or for how long?
in Vietnam,
Yeah,
for a year.
for a year. So just maybe in that year, did you see some big changes in the neighborhood, as far as maybe it's people, the businesses, something that you really noticed as like, wow.
You mean here?
You were
No, I wasn't here at that
Oh,
time.
you weren't here
No.
at the time. I'm sorry.
No. I didn't come here until 82. And that would have been back in 1969, 70, and 71. So
Right.
Maryland was
it's been there forever.
housing specifically for veterans. Did you know?
It was at
anything
one
about
time,
that?
yes.
Okay,
Long time ago.
so that changed.
Oh, yes.
When did that change?
It's got to be the late 70s, early 80s, I would guess, somewhere in that area.
Did you have any? Did you make friends with anybody there, or did you know anyone who?
Well, I
lived
knew
there?
somebody this David Clark,
Mhm.
and there's a guy called Mike Rice Sr. They both were, I think, in that Berryland when they first got out of the service, and they both bought houses not too far away from there, within a few blocks.
Okay,
And I knew both of them very well.
and that's the same David Clark that is the county sheriff.
Yep.
And they were both in the Vietnam War, or?
The two I knew, no, neither one of them. They were, one was Korea, and I'm not sure where the other one was. I don't recall anymore. But I know David Clark's father was in Korea.
Okay.
Because I understand that some of that, what happened to that? There's an institution.
Oh yeah, there was an army base in Haven Woods.
It used to be a silo base there, yeah.
Did you ever see any of the buildings before it was torn down?
Oh yeah. Used to go back in there all the time with the dog, and I've had dogs forever, and
Uh-huh.
I used to walk back in there, and even after they were empty, some of the underground silos were still there that you could climb down in and look
Did you?
around. Oh yeah.
What did you find?
Nothing. Just empty concrete room.
Uh-huh.
And they used to also have a military prison there too.
We heard about one of our group members has been researching.
And that building's been torn down forever too.
So,
But it was up, when I first was around this area.
But it wasn't in operation.
No, it wasn't in operation, but it was still there.
Did other people maybe interact with it in a certain way too? Like you said, you walked your dog. Did you notice maybe other people did the same sort of activities, or?
There are probably a group of 2 or 3 people that would run their dogs that I knew. David Clark's father had a dog. We used to always meet and walk around back there. And there's other people over the time you meet. Even still now, there's people that run their dogs. There's a guy that lives on 70th, just off of Silver Spring. He comes down here with his dogs and runs, and there's people all the time. And there's been people that have come and gone too, but there's still a few people I recognize when I go out.
Because as I understand, some of those buildings were reused in the neighborhood.
Our professor says there was a trend for old military buildings to be kind of disassembled and reused, or
That I'm not aware of. It's
Yeah.
possible, but I don't know. The only really old military, or never were really military, but the burial land where vets would move in after they came back. But as far as up on Havenwoods, that was all cleared when the government took it over to become a nature preserve, and they filled in all the bunkers and they built their own new building on there. And
is anything left? Any foundations or?
I don't think so. I think there might be a few concrete slabs here and there that were pretty well grown over. You could probably see them if you were walking, but I haven't walked back in there in a long time. The DNR is in charge of that, and they don't want you running your dog without a leash. And I don't like putting a leash on the dog.
I see.
He has one on every day, but it's an electronic one, and they don't like that. He threatened to give me a ticket one day, and I said, well, he's got a leash on. He said, I don't see him. I said, here, this is electronic. I said, I can control him better than somebody that has a leash on their dog, but he's pretty much harmless. And the remote control has 3 buttons on it, and one's a buzzer. And when you hit that buzz, it makes a sound only a dog can hear.
Oh.
But when he hears it, he knows it's time to come back or quit doing whatever he's doing, because the next one's going to be a little bit of an electric shock. But I don't. If I do that once a year, that's a lot, you know. He knows when he hears that buzzer that.
Yeah. And you just had him outside with you, and he's
Mhm.
pretty well behaved.
I usually have him hooked up out there. In fact, I had just taken him off to water him. He went to water the pole over there, and then I was going to hook him back up when you pull in. Then I just put him in the house, but he'll sit out there with me. And if it gets too hot, he'll come up to the door, and then he wants to go inside. So then I'll let him in, but I'll sit out there anyway. So.
Well, I suppose it just helps to get a sense of who you are and what the neighborhood's like too. So.
Well, the neighborhood has changed over the years, as I said. This block I consider decent. You know, if this block was like the other 2 are, I wouldn't be here. I'll guarantee you that.
When you say that, do you mean the state of the houses, or?
Well, there aren't that many houses over there, but a lot of them that are over there aren't well taken care of. Some of these people have loud parties all the time. A lot of criminal misbehavior around the neck of those areas, and just don't like it.
Mm-hmm. Do you host people much?
I haven't really had anything here for quite a while.
Yeah.
My wife has passed away 7 years ago, so probably haven't really had anything over here since then.
What did she like to do in the neighborhood?
She would like to sit out. She visited with neighbors. She'd go for walks with the dog. She'd put the dog on a leash and walk with a couple of the neighbors once in a while. But
just along Oriole, or?
She'd go down to Oriole, and then you go 2 blocks down here, dead ends at the railroad track, and she'd walk over the track and sometimes walk along there or something.
Is that the old, it used to be the Chicago, Milwaukee, and St. Paul line?
Yeah. I wouldn't know, but
Okay.
there's still trains that go along there. There's 2 tracks over there. Well, I think they tore one out, and one used to go over to the can company, and they don't have anything going over there anymore since Aldrich Chemical took over, and the other one is pretty much, it just passes through.
The can company, was that a ball company, or the ball jar company, or?
They made cans, like beer cans and cans for your vegetables or whatever. It's a can company.
I asked because the ball company
I don't know who actually owned it, but it was called American Can Company.
Oh, okay.
And a lot of the workers used to come over to the bar
Oh, okay.
over right across the street there, and they used to cash all their checks for them. And it was a very
At the Copper Hearth?
at the Copper Hearth, a very friendly bar and very nice place.
So-
And you had a lot of people that were in there every day. They'd come in after work or come in at lunchtime sometime. How people can drink it during lunch and then go back to work. Never figured that one out, but you know. It was,
Were they allowed to unionize?
yes, they were very big unionized back then.
Um, well, I asked about the Ball Jar Company because I went to Ball State University in Indiana, which was founded by the Ball brothers who started the Ball Jar Canning Company.
Okay.
And I've seen their logo on some of the events that the Agape Center runs.
Okay.
So I know that the Ball Jar or the Ball Company has a business in the neighborhood. I just haven't.
They might, but I'm not aware of it. If there is,
Do you know if many people live and work in Thurston Woods? Does the chemical company have a lot of employees?
that I really don't know.
Okay.
I'm not aware of.
Um,
I know they were located downtown on St. Paul when they moved here, so I'm assuming a lot of the workers came right along with them, but I've never really paid attention to their anything in the paper. It might say they'd be hiring because it was nothing that would have ever interested me, so
I see.
never
I'm
paid attention.
just trying to see if most people work in another neighborhood or.
And that I can't tell you.
Okay. Well, can you think of anything more?
Not really. I think we pretty much covered most of the stuff we wanted to talk about.
Sure.
Is there anything else you would like us to know, maybe about Thurston Woods or about maybe their street?
Nothing I can think of.
I think the things that interest us the most are, well, when you worked at the bar and it was a working class bar, and how you have a routine of walking your dog and sitting out, and so those ways of seeing the neighborhood for us are really important because you're seeing the normal everyday Thurston Woods, not just
That I do.
the mayor's house or we're interested in the history of those important things too, but we're more interested in this general history that maybe the word history is too formal, but the past.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
In those places that, like you said, the bar and, the military place,
Mhm.
stuff like that.
yeah.
Really
We met
don't
someone who said when he was a boy he used to go into the military base and hunt rabbits.
Well, that might be. That might be. It used to be very bushy back there. I mean, it isn't like that back there anymore. I mean, they used to have a spot you could walk around, almost like a path where people just walked. That's pretty much been torn down by the DNR back there. I mean,
And people don't walk back there anymore?
I don't, but I don't know. What other people do. I know there's a lot of people that go to Havenwood, so they have things going on there a lot of times. Where their parking lots will be full. So I know there's a lot of.
Do people barbecue there a lot?
They have tours with buses of kids coming in there, and they must take them out and show them,
Learning.
different things in the wooded area there. But like I said, a lot of the stuff has been taken down back there. I was a little irritated when they did that, but how they decide what they're going to do, I don't know.
Yeah. Great. I guess that's all we need.
If we think of anything else, may we contact you again?
Sure.
Okay, great.
And let me just get you to sign these guys. They would be which part does he sign? He signs this front.
Yep, and then the next page is us.
Okay. So I'll give you this one. And one, two. Yep.
Which
So
one?
you
This one?
print your name here and sign your